What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Jiu Jitsu Hustle. Today we're going to break down how to properly cut and size your mats so you can put them in and install them into your gym. For this project, you're going to need 5 items. We're going to start here is get a good metal T-square. This is going to make sure that your lines are straight and even. The next object you're going to need is a tape measure. We're going to make sure you got all your proper measurements and everything fits properly. You're going to get a scraper. Plastic is the cheaper option. Metal is obviously going to be a stronger, nicer option with a slightly bigger price tag. Your next object, get a good razor blade. And last but not least, recommend you get a small can of acetone. All right, so we built up a small table. It makes it easier for us to work on. We're going to take our mat. First thing we need to do is we need to flip it upside down. Now that we got our measurements, we're going to take on the back side of the mat, find our measurements, and we're going to mark it in. So this detail is really important to understand. I'm gonna need 22 1/4 as my measurement for the size mat I'm gonna need. But I have to add 3 inches for the overlap. So I'm gonna do another cut at 3 inches away from the cut size that I need. All right, now I'm gonna take my T-square, I'm gonna put it in place so I make sure I get a nice straight cut. It helps to have someone else hold the other end. What I'm gonna do now is just start cutting off all the way through all the layers of the mat. Now that we're done with that cut, we're moving on to our second cut. When we do our second cut, it's crucial that we don't cut all the way through because we have our final surface area here, which is gonna be used to overlap and protect this open surface that we have inside. To do that, we're gonna take our razor blade and we're gonna set it right on the side where the guide is. We're gonna adjust the razor blade to stick out so that it doesn't come in and touch on that outer surface. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go right on this corner here and I'm gonna make sure that I cut just the top tarp lining surface right down on the bed. Cool. Now we're going to pull this layer off. So now I'm going to be very careful. I'm going to pull and slowly start cutting the foam away from the tarp liner, making sure that I don't cut into the tarp liner. Now I'm going to come in and I'm going to start pulling all this foam and filler back and off of the mat material. So now we got the bulk of the padding off, but it still has some leftover padding. Now, some people are gonna sit here and they're gonna scrape, right? They're gonna scrape it all off, and it's very hard to do because it's a really good strong glue. What we're actually gonna use a little bit of acetone. Now be careful with this. You wanna do a little spot test. If you have a little scrap piece, do a little spot to make sure that it doesn't stain your mats because some mats are made out of different material. I'm lucky in the sense that the acetone does not stain these mats. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pour the acetone only on the liner where I plan on using the tarp. You don't wanna let it get into this side because if it drips over into this side, it's gonna loosen the glue that's holding the tarp to the foam padding. So I'm gonna carefully pour the acetone along this line. Just carefully, and let the acetone do the work for you. Now that we've let the acetone do its work, it's dissolved some of the glue that's holding onto the foam padding. We're gonna take our scraper and we're just gonna really smooth, nicely peel back all that foam leftover padding. So if you come over here, you can see how now we've gotten a nice clean surface that's gonna later allow us to fold over to the mat. So as you can see, we've taken the scraper and we've removed all the excess foam padding left on it, giving us a nice clean surface. Afterwards, we're gonna allow 10-15 minutes for all the acetone to dry up so that when we go to glue it, we have a nice clean dry surface. We come to our corner, we went and did our cut. So here at our cut, we did a nice 45-degree angle here, a nice 45-degree angle here, and another 45-degree angle here. So that when we fold our sheet and we come back on it, it's gonna give us a nice tight cut fit and all area is covered and protected. So check with your manufacturer on what kind of glue they recommend. And you're gonna take the glue and you're gonna go ahead and stick it on the inside here. Nice, good, even layer. Then you're gonna come on the inside here and we're gonna do 2 more layers. You're gonna make sure you get a nice even coat all along this foam liner. And then on this bottom part, you're gonna come in and do the same thing. Make sure you get a nice even spread. All right, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna start here on the bottom, got an even layer of glue. We're gonna fold it over. Get it nice, make sure no air bubbles. And then pinch it back in right there. Nice, working it in. Make sure you don't get any bubbles in there. Now that we have it pressed on really good, I'm gonna take some tape, stick it really good on the bottom so that when I pull it up, it gives it a nice tight pull. Cut it with a razor. And it's gonna keep that bend and that flap tight so the glue can settle and dry into the correct form. Here you can see how the corner cuts with the 2 45s and the other 45 on the side, when glued, come and cover the surface in a nice clean way. So, we gave it 24 hours for the matte glue to dry. We wanted to make sure that it had a nice tight bond and was holding well. At this point, we took the tape off and we laid the mats down. Now the gym's ready to go. I hope this video helped you out. Guys, if you liked the video, please like, comment, subscribe, and as always, keep hustling.